If it's TikTok, if it's Sims 4, if it's a PS4 game, if it's an Xbox game, I don't know what you guys are playing. It needs to stop. Like, at one point you need to realize that this thing is what is holding you from your fullest potential. You wake up, you go on your phone, scroll on social media, watch a few episodes on Netflix, and then you decide to scroll some more. It comes to the end of the day and you realize that you didn't do any work at all after you said you were going to do pages and pages. How do you move on from this? How do you tackle the piles and piles of work that you have set for yourself that day? How do you save a half-wasted day? Find out in this video. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can turn an unproductive day into one where you can make yourself proud and get some stuff done, despite not having the best start. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe. As you guys know, it really supports my channel and it really helps me to make videos like this, as well as share it with a friend, a family member, anyone that you know that will help, as this also really supports me. Let's jump straight in. So number one, address the problem. Figure out why your day was so unproductive, and then you can know how to move on from that. Figure out what happened and why. So were you too tired? Did you have a long week? Were you hungry and you weren't able to concentrate? Were you just not feeling your to-do list because it was too overwhelming or too ambitious? Are you too distracted right now because of a lot of things going on in your life? Address this, or you will keep on doing this. You'll keep on procrastinating and wasting the whole day, and then end up beating yourself up because you didn't do anything that you said you were going to do. You have to look after yourself. You can't expect to be a robot and a productivity machine. You are just a human being. Look after yourself, feed yourself, drink water, have enough sleep. These are basic things that I'm sure you probably don't want me to be telling you, but it's literally why you're so unproductive. You're not looking after yourself, and then you're expecting yourself to run like a machine. You're not a machine. I'm sorry to say it. Sometimes all we really need to do is eat something or drink water, and we overcomplicate it. We think, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? You just need to drink some water. Just go and drink some water right now. If you're watching this video and you haven't, go drink some water because it will help you. Another thing that I find really helps me to start a new slate is to go and have a shower. And I know you guys are probably thinking this is a bit weird, but honestly, showering is like having a clean slate, and it just makes you feel fresh and ready to tackle the day. Despite the fact that it might be dark outside, despite the fact that the sun may be setting, you can still have a good start to your day. Don't think that, because I didn't wake up at 5 a.m. and start working like all of these productivity gurus, I'm not gonna make it. You're gonna make it. Just don't feed yourself lies and just get started. Just have a shower, refresh, and get ready. You have needs, so address them. Stop running away from them. If your to-do list is too intimidating, make it less intimidating. Remove some stuff. You're not gonna get everything done, okay, but at least you get to start it. If you keep having this long to-do list, you will never start it, and you will always beat yourself up, and then you're gonna fall into this cycle of self-destruction, of self-hatred, and it's honestly gonna burn you out. So make your to-do list realistic, and what you need to do is realize that you can't go back to the past. You can't redo the day. All you can do is move on and make the day as productive and as good as you can. Stop beating yourself up. It's not going to make you any more productive. It's not going to help you in any form, shape or way, but make you feel upset. And remember that doing something at the end of the day is better than doing nothing. As I say, use the 5-minute rule. Even if you do just 5 minutes of work, that is 5 minutes you otherwise wouldn't have done, and by doing this you'll be able to build up your focus and also study for longer periods. Okay, so let's move on to the next point, which is really important. You need to eliminate distractions, and by distractions, you know what I'm talking about. If it's TikTok, if it's Sims 4, if it's a PS4 game, if it's an Xbox game, I don't know what you guys are playing. It needs to stop. Like, at one point you need to realize that this thing is what is holding you from your fullest potential. It is holding you from getting the grades that you deserve to get. Just imagine the reason that you flop maths and have to resit it is because you were playing Sims 4 too much. Leave those people alone. They will do fine without you. Save the game, close it, and open it once you've done a bit of work. Come on now. It's harsh, but it's the truth, and you need to hear it. A lot of people are sabotaging themselves from getting grade 9s, grade 8s by doing this. There is very little chance that you wasted your day staring at the window all day long. You were definitely doing something that consumed your brain and consumed you for the entire day, to the point where you didn't even realize that time was passing until you looked outside and it was dark. There was something that was distracting you, and you need to eliminate this, as painful as it may be. You need to destroy these distractions, and that sounds dramatic, but that's how I want you to look at it. These distractions are basically holding you back from your fullest potential, and you need to react explosively. easily. This is because the reason that we get distracted so easily when we know we have things to do is because our brain wants to do the thing that is easiest, the path of less resistance. This is basically whatever the brain finds more pleasurable or easier to tackle, it will want to do that. That's why you find it easier to watch TV than to revise math. Obviously, we can't watch TV all the time, and sometimes we have to push ourselves to do things that we don't want. So to make this easier for ourselves, we need to make studying easier than it is to be distracted. So by this, I mean you should react dramatically. If TikTok is distracting you, delete it. If Sims 4 is distracting you, delete it. Download it once you've done your work, download it at the end of the day, whenever you want to download it. But for now, you need to delete it because it's so much effort for you to go to the app store, go and download it, go and log in, do the two-factor verification thing where you have to enter a pin from your text messages. It's just really long. So if you manage to do all of that, then I don't know, maybe you needed the break, but otherwise it's gonna force you to study. As well as this, make sure you do things that push you outside of your comfort zone. So if your phone as a whole is distracting you, like you delete TikTok and now you're on Instagram, give your phone to your sibling or your parents or your carers and ask them to hide it, and just hold yourself accountable, because there's no point of asking them to hide it and then getting it after 5 minutes. Tell them to hide it for like a set amount of time, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, and get stuff done. This forces you to do work. Even if it's just 10 minutes, as I've said, it's better than nothing. So now let's move on to step 3, which is to modify your to-do list. This means that you should make things easier for yourself. Obviously, it's almost the end of the day. You don't have as many hours in the day. You won't be able to finish your to-do list. And this is sad, but it doesn't mean that you can't do anything. You can still have a really productive day and complete a lot of stuff. So long as you modify your to-do list, you will feel a lot motivated to do this. Make your timetable and your to-do list less intimidating. This can look like batching tasks. So start with tasks which are easier, and then you can batch these all together. So let's say you have a few tasks that may take you 5 minutes each. Batch those at the start so that you doing all of this and ticking these stuff off works as motivation for you to complete the rest of the stuff. Start with what is easiest, then build yourself up to the harder parts where you have more focus and you are more into the study mode. And another thing is, as weird as it may seem, you shouldn't multitask. Don't try to jump from doing maths homework to doing your English essay that's due for tomorrow. It's not going to work. You're not going to stay focused on one task, and you're more likely to procrastinate. Stick to one thing. If you're going to do a maths paper, do the maths paper. If you want to do the essay first, then do the essay first. Don't be switching back and forth. Just complete one thing at a time. Another thing is, especially since you've had a long day, you don't really feel like revising. Don't force yourself to do things you don't want to do. Now take this with a pinch of salt. If you hate maths and you don't want to do maths, that doesn't mean you should never do maths. But today, take a little break from maths and do something you enjoy more. You can go and do English, you can go do computer science, whatever subject that you enjoy and you have work to do it, and then you'll feel more motivated for the next day to tackle the harder subject. And this will mean that you get something out of the way whilst also feeling proud of yourself that you did something rather than wasting the whole day. Also, remember to be taking breaks. Don't work for hours at a time just to make up for the fact that you didn't revise earlier. Don't beat yourself up. Just make sure you give yourself a good amount of rest. Once you realize that you can't keep focused, you can't stay on the task, that's your body telling you to take a break. So take a 5-minute break, take a 30-minute break, but at least give yourself a set amount of time. Don't say you're going for a little break. Set it on your phone so that when your timer rings, you can stop what you're doing and go back to revision. You don't want to end up back into that slump where you're not doing anything after not doing anything for the whole day. Set yourself a good realistic break and stick to it. Now let's move on to accountability. So guys, the reason that you stayed on your phone the whole day is because no one was watching you. Be honest with yourself. If you were in the library, would you have stayed on your phone in the same amount of time? No. And that's because of accountability. That is because people are watching you. In the library, you may not notice it, you may notice it, but people are actually watching you and people are low-key looking at what you're doing. If you go to the library and start dancing, obviously everyone's gonna be like, this person is crazy. But if you go on your laptop and you're typing away and you're doing a little essay, no one's gonna bat an eye. So obviously, accountability comes in many forms, and it's basically the act of having someone hold you accountable, having someone almost shaming you into not procrastinating. And it forces you to be productive because you're in this environment where not studying is not ideal, it's not the norm. So when you're not studying, you feel almost pressured to study. This is not to say to force yourself to go to the library when you're tired, you're sleepwalking, you can't even stand up, right? No. But when you know you have to do some work, it's good to force yourself out of your comfort zone. Go to the library, stay at school for longer, go to a cafe, just go somewhere where you are forced to be in this study mode. You have to get used to not being comfortable all the time, because being comfortable can actually lead to your downfall. Sometimes you need to be uncomfortable and you need to get your work done. You're not always gonna feel like doing work, and I'm sure you know that. Just think about it. 2 hours of you being uncomfortable to do your work, and then get the whole day to sleep, relax, play games, do whatever you want, and you don't have any pressure of, oh, I need to do this, oh, I need to do this, because you already did it in those 2 hours. Another way to hold yourself accountable is to remind yourself of your goals. Do you want to A-star in that specific subject? Do you want to improve your grades and and prove everyone wrong? Do you want to get into a specific degree or a specific course? Then you need to remind yourself constantly on a daily basis. You can do this in the form of setting a reminder on your phone for every day or every week, or you can stick a post-it note on your workplace just to remind you every time you don't feel like revising that you do have a goal and you do want to meet it. Your future self will thank you. And even if you don't do a lot this particular day, you're one step towards becoming the person you want to become and achieving your goals, and that is honestly amazing. So now let's move on to the last point, which is a really serious point: mental health. So guys, sometimes you don't feel like doing work because your body physically can't do the work. You can't always force yourself to do work, and this was something that I needed to hear in year 11 especially, because I feel like I almost burnt myself out towards the end. At the end of the day, mental health is really important. You need to start listening to your body and listening to your mind and telling yourself when enough is enough. You are not going to fail just because you took one day off. I know it's hard to hear, but you're not going to fail just because you took one day off, even 2 days. Just don't make it a constant cycle of you not revising. Acknowledge the difference between being in a poor mental state and feeling lazy. Obviously, you shouldn't be lazy, but if you're in a poor mental state, then you need to look after yourself just the same as you would if you were physically ill. Accept that having a few days of rest is nothing bad and it's nothing you should be ashamed of. It's better to take one day off than burn out and end up doing worse in your exams. Listen to your body and just relax sometimes. You may not complete everything, and that's okay. Your life is more important than an assignment or an exam. If you have to resit an exam, you have to reset it. That's not the end of the world. You will always have the chance to fix things later. Always prioritize your mental health and your body. And make sure you also speak to friends and family if you're struggling with anything, and I'm sure they will be there to support you. So guys, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found it useful. If you did, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, as well as share this with anyone that you think it will be helpful for. And if you're struggling to revise for your GCSEs, be sure to check out my playlist, which should be somewhere around here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.